Machawe samete o chivasi e kamatai. Masetea achiamate. Mesawe chawatamake. Esawe chamate. Matea. Matea. Chimasawe mate. Hai. Aishta matikia tamataya mohaya. E chamatia ya sakataya matoi. E samatia ya. Hey, my, mataya, my,
What's happening?
What's the crack?
What's cracking? What the hell does that mean anyway?
Go for it, Amanda. She's been practicing her best Irish accent.
Yeah, I have. What's the crack?
Yay!
What's the crock?
I love it.
I've been practicing my Scottish one.
Go on, Todd.
Because I watched Outlander, you know, Sassenach, but I call Morgan Asinach.
I'm hooked on Outlander, and it's your fault. My kids haven't seen.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't that just amazing? We watched it through a lot of transforming, days and weeks, And then after it was all over, right before we left Hawaii, I kind of got it. And I thought, oh, you know what? You know what the whole message was? Is those two had to be together no matter what. No matter what, they had to be together. They did whatever they had to do to be together. And they defied everything, space and time and everything.
Oh, wow.
What a incredible pleasure it is to be getting together with both of you. Such a contrast, you know, on the day after 8/8. So many things are happening. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It's good to see you both. It really is.
And you.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry, I'm speechless at the moment.
Are you really? I love your little braids. I love those braids. I want to learn how to do my own in the back, where I can just do that every day when I get up.
Yeah, just
So
the two.
So what's happening? I don't have the best setup here, but I really don't care. It never matters over here. So how's it going? What's going on? What's happening? Where do you want to start? What the hell is happening?
Do you want to start? Melissa?
I'm getting tones in my ears.
Or do you want me to start?
You can shoot from the hip. Let's go all in.
There you go.
It's just fast paced, isn't it? So if I was to sum up where the potential is, what's really, really happening now, so it's existing and it's happening, is our conscious awareness and our soul. The two things are integrating with the human vehicle. So that's what has started. It started good few weeks ago now, and it will just continue one by one, and it is the start. It's I think solstice was the turning point, but each are on their journey, but that's where we are. The soul is, it's not that the soul descends into the body. The soul was always in the body and around the body. It's that our conscious awareness has risen, and so we can see our soul, we can be our soul, we can feel our soul physically, and we're becoming the soul. But at the same time, this is because our conscious awareness has shot up. So we're becoming the conscious awareness that is understanding the dream and is able to manifest from outside of the dream. That's kind of in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Without me going on and on and on and on.
Well, you'll have a chance to go on unless y'all are in a hurry and you got a date or something. How about you, Melissa?
I experience things. It's funny, the dynamic between the two of us, because we're running parallel with experiences over the last couple of months, and it's incredible the view I have it from my side. I have of it from my side, and then the vantage point Amanda has it from hers. And every time we end up speaking, it's like I have a puzzle piece for her and she has a puzzle piece for me.
Yeah.
We have puzzle pieces for the collective. And for me, it's very much the human in the throes of it, in the real, raw experiences of it. And it's incredible to witness at the same time, because we're putting our own puzzle pieces together and really having to integrate and live out what's going down at the minute. Amanda's talking about our consciousness, and I love the way she talks about it, and then I'm like, what's going on? I'm gonna die. How are we here? And the most beautiful 2 weeks of chaos really showed us how to get intimate with our self-worth, and what happens if we don't. What happens if we don't put our worth first? What happens when we try to run back to what broke us? What happens when we try to be sovereign and still fix things in the now moment with the tools and techniques and mechanisms that we use to try and fix ourselves yesterday. It can't be done.
No.
And so the self-worth exploration over the last few weeks came hand in hand with what it means to really understand attachment and suffering as a result. And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Buck naked. Buck ass naked.
There's no shield now. There's none.
No, and the you know, I have the luxury of doing these shows, and what happens is I watch it happen more and more and more. Each one of them is sequential. It's like synchronicity or whatever, and they come in these, and maybe it's just my personal journey, but I know it's got to be paralleling to some degree in the collective, because I get too many messages and comments from people that say when these shows come on, what's being talked about is real time. So one of the things that really stands out, and you just hit on it, Melissa, was toward the end of last month, like I said, the last 10 days of last month, Amanda was talking about self-value. Morgan was talking about self-value. There was in other ways of being explained, Jason Estes was talking self-value. There was a few other people, and I can't think who it is right now, but there were several people talking about it that had been out there for a while. And toward the end of the month, Morgan started saying to me, and of course, this is right before we even know we're leaving the island. Like we're just sitting in this space where we're being told don't schedule any more shows. So we have like one show and maybe no shows the next day, then 2 shows and 1 show, then no shows. And I'm thinking, how the hell are we going to do this? And that's that 3D mind. And then the guidance is saying, just hold. But toward the end of the month, she started saying, you know what, I think I'm getting next month is going to be about unconditional love for self. And she said, I don't know what it means. I'm not really clear on it, but this is what I'm getting. Unconditional love for self. Because everything stems from there. And we've talked about it, and it's cliche and it sounds new age-ish and all that stuff. But if I look at, what's today, the 9th? If I look at the last 10 days, it's freaking mind-blowing. And what you just said too, I'm going to pass it back to Amanda, was and Morgan said it this morning, was we landed in 5D over here. We land at the airport, you know, and we're standing outside waiting for our ride, which is a whole nother story. And she said, look, we're in 5D terminal. So I stood under the sign and she took a picture. And then today, it was like a couple of times since we got here, well, not even 48 hours ago, barely, 3D popped in. And it's like, just for a second, and you're just like, no, can't do it anymore. Or the universe reminds you can't do it anymore. So it's like it's not all on us anymore. Enough of us are doing it, as well as the universe is guiding us. It's like I told her just an hour ago, all this work we've done, it's here now, you know. Then I see you with Paul Carrie Dobry, I can't remember how he puts his name in order, and you guys are over at the tour. What was happening over there?
That was very spontaneous. He texted me in the morning to say he was over here, which I didn't know because he lives in Thailand. And he said, I'm coming to the tour today. Will you join me up there? And I had my farm work to do for 3 hours and other stuff. And so at first I said, no, I said, I can't because I've got this, that, and the other to do. And I came away and, you know, the way it just, and it was like, whoom, you've got to go. You've actually got to go. So that was it. When I get called within, nothing stops me. So it happened, and it was beautiful because it was just spontaneous, and I'd never met Paul before. And he set up a beautiful ceremony mandala in there, and I took a few really special crystals. And people and children, they were just all around coming in, looking, and a little child brought a flower, and then neither of us had a lighter, so a lady brought a lighter, so she participated, and it was just all these energies coming in to join in. It was magical. It really was. Yeah, I love the way the now works, you know, no planning, just go with the heart, follow the heart, and that's the only way. You know, it's lovely. It's, you know, as I say, I did think, oh no, that was my mind thinking, oh no, I can't, because I'd already got these things planned. But then you just listen within and it tells you, and it's like, no, you've got to go.
Yeah.
So I wish you'd have been there, Melissa. That would have been epic, as you would say, epic.
The pictures were awesome.
Melissa, have you had any of this going on the last 2-3 days?
How do you mean?
Just this, what she got, you know, this, you know, where the mind goes one way and the guidance says, no, we're not doing this.
Jesus, yes.
Right.
I had a blissful day it was on the 7th here. One of my friends was here visiting, and we were both in just a very, I can't really describe it, just a very peaceful, very easygoing place. And then I woke up yesterday morning, and the difference between being at peace within and experiencing the chaos of the mind, for me now, when I go from one place to the other, my whole system just, it almost flips out, because I see now in the chaos of the mind, even if it's only temporary that I'm there, how many people live there on a permanent basis. And it's very, very scary. I managed to make my way back out of that, make my way back out of here and back into here. But I almost flipped out while I was there, because I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? There's nothing going on. There's no chaos in my life. There's no drama. I was like, da, 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 da. And I couldn't get out of it. And what happens for me is it very, very frequently pops me back in there. So I can have a splash around and go, no, I'm not, this isn't for me. I don't live here anymore. I don't belong here anymore. I don't operate from this place anymore. I'm back out. And then, like today, 2 people I met just in conversation, they're permanently there. And it was even listening to them speak. One person I was speaking to was like, you know, I'm just really pissed off and I'm really fed up and I don't even know why. And I realized that we're just so conditioned. Another lady asked me, can you recommend a book that I can read, that I can just get positive within my own skin again? And I'm looking at her going, there's no books. There's no books. There's no fix. There's no one outside of you that can or will remedy this. It's an absolute inside job. And when I said to her, the key to this for me has been to drop out of my head into my heart, ask, what do I need? And she looked at me like I had 10 heads, because it was too simple. It was too easy. And she's like, that's it. Like, and I said, I promise you, that's it. And these energies at the moment, like Amanda was speaking of on her live there, you spoke about it there last Saturday, about the self-worth. And you're talking then, Todd, about the self-love. They're everything. They are everything. If you are not honoring yourself right now, then you are placing yourself in the throes of an inferno where suffering is guaranteed.
Yeah.
If you're not saying yes to you now, you can't live there.
Yeah. And the other side of that is, if you're not suffering, what's going to happen? Let me just say I got to say this. Let me say a big hello to Richard Carroll, who's actually Pamela Johnson, because she's borrowing his computer.
Hi, Pam.
Yeah, right. So and so if you don't have the suffering, what do you have? So we wake up on August the 31st. I'm sorry, July 31st. Now we've gone through this period of 10 days, and we're not scheduling. We're told not to schedule. We've got just a handful of shows. And I'm going, okay, how are we going to pay rent? You know, what's going to happen here? Because it all flows on the energy we put out. But we were told in no uncertain terms, do not do that. So we're both just going through the motions, and it's very intense, and there's still a lot of clearing going on and all that stuff. And we wake up on the morning of August 31st, and with no words being spoken, and obviously Morgan and I are very close, you know, but this was different. We're like laying in bed looking at each other, and the love was just crazy. Like we're just looking at each other, and all of a sudden I see her face contort, like that. And I knew what was happening. And she looked at me and she said, "You're thinking the same thing I'm thinking." And I said, "Yeah." And she started laughing. She says, "Damn it, we got to go." So it was a sign, which makes no sense in the 3D. No, you can't just, you know, you should be freaking out. You know, what are you going to do? And this and that. But in the 5D, it was like, we got to do this. Same thing y'all are talking about. So we spend the next few days, you know, maneuvering through that. We're about to leave. So we decide we're going to borrow some money, send our car over to the States, and get over there and wait 30 days for it to come in, because it takes that long, and then jump in the car and just give it hell and just keep following. You know, we don't have a plan, just go from just whatever appears. So we go to the harbor, you know, 5 hours before our flight leaves, which we had to borrow that too, you know, and the place was closed. They're like, "Oh, we're not open on Wednesdays." So we couldn't drop the car off. But we didn't freak out. We just said, "Okay, what can we do?" And we figured it out and worked it out, and someone's going to drop it off for us on Monday. So we go to the beach so she can feed the crabs, which is one of her routines. And we're standing there. And in that time, a beautiful man, Paul Castaneda here in Los Angeles, says, "Hey, I'm not working right now." He's on every show, you know, and he says, "I'll pick you guys up. I'll take you wherever you need to go. I'll pick you up 7 o'clock in the morning, LAX and whatever." We don't even have anywhere to go, right? We're landing and we don't even have anywhere to go. So we're standing on the beach, and somebody hits us up and says, a longtime supporter who's very quiet in the background says, "I live an hour out of LA. You can come here and you can stay. You have your own room. You have a room to broadcast in. You have your own bathroom." And we're like, wow. And then someone else hits us up and says, "Me and my boyfriend are going out of town for the weekend. You can have our place on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday." We're like, wow, you know? And so we just kind of looked at each other, and here we're like 2 hours away from leaving. We've got nothing in 3D terms, right? Nothing but the clothes on our back. And this beautiful sister hits us up, and I don't want to mention names because I don't know how they feel about it. And she says, I'm moving out of my apartment. And it's, and by the way, the one where we're going to stay for 3 days, she says there's a crystal bed between his apartment and the beach, and there's a portal on the other side of it, and it runs through his apartment. So you will see Pleiadians and Arcturians while you're sleeping there. So we're sitting there, and I looked at Morgan, and I said, "Oh my God, what the hell's going on? We haven't even left yet, you know?" And so she goes into the beach, to the shore, to clean her feet off because she'd been walking in some mud. And I get a message from another lady, beautiful sister, and she says, "I'm moving out of my apartment. It's I have to be out on the 28th, which is the same day our car's coming in." And she says, "I can leave a bed and a TV and some dishes, and you're welcome to stay there." And I'm just like, holy shift, what the hell, you know? But this is what it is. This is it. If you don't have the suffering, what do you have? And I'll end with this. The last show we do out of our apartment, our first and only home, was with Raghita, who was a twin flame specialist, you know, 85,000 followers on Facebook and so on. And the codes and the things that were coming out in that conversation were so applicable, not just to the twin flame part of it, I think to everyone, which was no more suffering on this trip. There's no suffering in the 5D. There's no lack. There's abundance in all aspects of your life, you know. So let me ask you, I'm gonna get off of this and I'll start with Amanda. So what do you think we're moving into? What's it gonna look like? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I've had a loose knowing and idea for a long time. So people shift up to the planet Gaia, they shift up to the 5D, okay, and that's where the human body exists on. So solid form lives in 5D, and during people's ascension they experience 5D and then they go back down, and then they experience it and go back down, and what happens is that going down gets less and less frequent. So that's the person evolving within themselves. So our bodies exist at a 5D level. We live as a 5D human being. But there are then human beings on the 5D that, bearing in mind, we were on 3D and 4D and we'd bob up like this. So at 5D, there's human beings that bob up higher and higher and higher. And they draw down energetically, because they're capable of doing it. They draw down into the 5D world, the physical 5D world, the manifestations. So this is what I'm learning. It's just coming through me, because that's my path, is to understand how that works and all the rest of it. So there'll be 5D human beings being 5D is completely love-based living.
Uh-oh. Oh, that was her. I thought it was me.
Living.
There you go.
A decision that serves the whole, that doesn't harm. Okay. So it is.
It's okay. It's going to come back. It's the energy.
That is 5D living. The brain part of 5D living. Then there's people, everybody has different roles and different jobs. So there's people at the 5D that are, you could call it, just for label, the divine alchemy.
She looks good, doesn't she?
She's that magic. She broke Zoom.
She's back. She's back. You just rocked it.
Okay, I probably just rambled on and to
No,
myself.
no, you were in and out. But you were talking about how the 5D operates just on love, and so
yeah,
you know that I don't know, the way you were explaining it to me, it sounded like we were coming out of this thing where we would go into 5D, drop back down, go back up, drop back down, and now you're saying, to me anyway, I'm not sure, clarify it, that we're sustaining it and we're being supported.
Yeah, and it's not to say we're staying in it, but we can still, because this is a multi-dimensional experience, we can still observe and be with people that aren't awakened, etc. But our experience of that, I want to talk about sovereignty actually, because it has a huge bearing on this. But our experience of it becomes less and less and less. And why? Because we're not choosing that realm to live in and reside in. But sovereignty, because you both touched on that earlier, has a huge effect, because once we've cleared the distortions, the mind patterns, what happens is, this is what I experience, is you're aware of an energy field around you. So I'm not talking about a Merkaba or the soul. You're aware of an energetic space around you. And that's what I've realized and learned a few weeks back now, that's our energetic sovereignty. So what that means is you can then enter a space where people are upset, low, negative, and you can hold your field because you're aware of it. So it's always that we change and change and change. So people have had an idea of what sovereignty is, and I used to relate to that to some degree, but now because I've gone through it, I know what my sovereignty is, and my sovereignty is actually an energetic space that I hold around my body, and I just literally take that with me everywhere I go. That's my sovereignty. It's energetic. So you can hold your energy, you can hold your field around any frequency. And also what comes in with the sovereignty as an embodiment is the integrity. And so we learned about integrity months and months ago, cosmic integrity, do no harm. But it's only when you're in your sovereign space, energetic sovereign space, that you can be 100% your integrity. So before we could be maybe 70% our integrity, roughly. I'm just plucking figures here just to try and show a picture. But we could be about 70% of our integrity. But till we own our sovereignty, our field, our energy, which happens, it's part of it, just happens to us. We don't have to try, it just happens. Then we can be 100% our integrity.
Yeah. Melissa.
The integrity is everything, because if you're not honoring you, like we said a few minutes ago, if you're not honoring you as the creator of this experience, then what's going to happen? You're going to be met with the chaos. Yeah. The thing that I've been experiencing, and I know Amanda has as well, and I hope she won't mind me saying, is when we look back at how we used to looking back from a distorted place. How do I say this? Every time you look at somebody else and assume how they think, how they feel, how they act, you are fueling your own chaos.
Yeah.
So as a sovereign being, in your integrity, after doing the inner work, rumbling the distortions that are the story, you have to discipline your mind compassionately to not allow yourself to fall back into old habitual ways of being and doing. Again, compassionately, because we keep falling down, but we keep getting back up. Because the desire to elevate to that space where it's peace and ease and grace, and you can feel the expansion of love, is that strong. It's like a pull that, despite what history taught you and what history told you and your experiences showed you, it's that you believe, and you not even believe, it's a knowing bigger than anything, that you return back to source, you return back to home and operate from there. When Amanda speaks about, because I do it obviously frequently, dip back down for a splash around, and I experience suffering, now I'm able to see that the biggest culprit, the only culprit in fact, has been me all along. And the importance now for everybody, as I said, to discipline your mind, but compassionately. So it's the second you turn around and operate from a reactive space to anyone or anything outside of you. You have to literally catch it, draw it back in, and own it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I have no idea what I just said.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work. Don't you know that? I have no idea what I just did. I'm in LA and I don't have any money. We're in a hotel. We got to get out today. So
Can I
that's
just
how
ask you, like the action, like that makes no logical sense to somebody in a 3D space. It makes no logical sense. They're looking at you going, Todd Medina, what the hell is wrong with you? Are you crazy? And yet every fiber of your being, this knowing, this I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
This feeling that emanates from the inside out and just goes, let's do this shit.
Yeah.
Because everything you want is on the other side of fear. And if you're operating from an integrous place full of love for yourself, wanting the very best for yourself and nothing less than that, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah. Well, you know, okay, so the two words that jump out are integrity and compassion, right? Like the whole thing about, I totally get what you're saying about, you know, focusing on someone else, anything external, doesn't matter. Because you're just avoiding the reality of we are that, you know, this is all me. This is all me. Nothing can penetrate that. I'm impervious to that unless I allow it to. So the integrity thing is really big. But to me, the integrity thing is, well, first of all, the compassion is so important because we do F up. We do, especially as empaths, you know, and I really don't like the label, but because we have a heart, we overgave and we said, oh, it'll be better tomorrow. And, oh, they're going to change. And, oh, fuck, you know, and it's me standing there holding my, you know, and going, oh my God, here I am again. And we've all been there. Right.
Yeah.
And so the compassion first for me was, you know, and I gotta be honest with you, and she's sitting right here next to me, but I had a lot of shadow in proportion to my own existence, in comparison to nobody. And I'm with a high vibrational person, and I would have, I'd screw up. And it was innocent and it was unconscious. And then I would say, okay, and I would beat myself up, but we all did this. And then I got to the point where I thought, you know what? Now I know. I forgive myself. I love myself. I'm going to get up and go, like you said, we fall down, we get up. We fall down, we get up. Now I'm getting up without anything attached to me. But the integrity thing is the big one. So now you have self-value. You're moving into unconditional love for self. Because if you handle that, everything's done. But the integrity is the whole thing. What is integrity? Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one's looking, right? So the integrity thing is what y'all are talking about. The integrity thing is doing what's right for you. Yeah. You know, Morgan will always say, hey, I'm here for us, but I will always do what's right for me. You know? And I'm like, okay, I get that. But to actually get that, to be that, that's a different deal. And I think that's the energy that's available to us now, is we're actually able to hold that space and love ourselves and appreciate stuff. And this is not just words and cliches and new age, you know, isms. This is an actual reality where it's available to us, where we can say, I pick me. Ingrid Esme, I can't remember the rest of her name. That beautiful lady from Norway has been on a few times. She was on a few days ago, right after Melissa. And she said some crazy things. Now, this woman has beat cancer 2-3 times. She was in abusive relationships. I mean, same story, many light workers, right? And I said to her, I said, you know, I'm getting all these people mad at me because I won't answer their message. You know, like they're coming at me with this stuff and I don't know what to do. Right? I don't know what to do. I know I can't go into this engagement with a wounded frequency because I'm not even stable. So I just don't say anything. And she said, you know what I do? I just block them. Because maybe the best thing they need is a little bit more silence from me. Let everybody swim in their own shift. You know what I mean? She said, I leave behind those that need to be saved. And on the surface, on the 3D surface, 3D earth love surface, that sounds horrible. But on the 5D, where integrity is the order of the day, hey, if you want me to hold you up, I'm sorry. It's a full-time job for me just to keep, up to date with all the energies that are available and to keep expanding in the moment. Because the minute I take my eye off of that, where else can I go? There's only one thing I know, where I've been and what we've experienced. The other option is to go into that unknown and step through those fears. So that to conclude on your comment, no, it doesn't make any sense. I've been doing this a long time and it's been hell, right? But something's changed. And not just because I'm in a partnership that, we're two or more gather, there's more than two. There's all these people. I'm getting downloads over the last 3 or 4 days, all these people creating this vortex, this energy that is the new earth, So no, it doesn't make any sense. Should I be shaking in my boots? Yeah. Am I? No, not at all. And I know that sounds, but it's true. It's true. It's like, it's like the universe is saying to us, don't ask us about tomorrow. Just love each other and do your job. Do what you came here to do, which is what the two of you are doing. Who's up, Amanda?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things there. One thing is when we dip down, and it's not to think we've done something wrong and beat ourselves up that we've did that. What it really is there's more to learn. So it's our consciousness saying, oh, you need to learn this now. So you go down to learn something else to help you expand. And when you see it, when you go within, see what it is, boom, you go back up, you shift up. So you become more whole, more purer and purer into the version that you actually are. So there's nothing wrong with that dipping down, because look at it in a positive way. There's something else to learn. There's something that we've missed. There's something staring us in the face about ourselves that we haven't quite seen yet. So if we learn it, if we integrate it, that's gonna shift us up in our energy. But what Morgan was saying to you, Todd, about she loves you, but she's going to do what is absolutely right for her. I can't tell you how much I resonate with that, and I'm a person that put myself last all my life, to my own detriment. I would do for others so that they were happy, regardless of whether I was happy. It didn't matter. I wanted them to be happy. But Morgan saying that really excites me, because what I've been going through, and Melissa knows this because we chat quite a bit, Morgan's putting herself first, because in her reality, in her dream, she's actually the only awareness in that dream. So she's creating all of it. If we put others first, all we're doing is being immersed in the dream, in the forgetfulness that we are actually creating it. So if Morgan we get to the point where we put ourselves first, yes, but it's not from a selfish, oh, it's all about me. It's not that. That's 3D, 4D. It's from I'm completely aware that I'm the creator of my dream. What we have done, and this is something I've realized, is when and I know we're just talking about 3D, 4D, just in order to sort of define stages of our awakening. But in the 3D and in the 4D, we were actually designers of our dream. So what happened is something came into our reality, into our world, and we reacted to it. We didn't like it, we liked it. We tried to change people and what they were like. In other words, we were always reacting to what presented and then try to change it. That's us immersed in the dream, trying to change it from the inside. And what we become, and this is directly related to what Morgan said, we become in our own awareness, in our consciousness, the creator of the dream, no longer the designer. So instead of trying to change what is, which is a result of our previous thoughts, our previous words, our previous actions, that's what's created it all. We've done it all along, not knowing it. So instead of trying to change that, we choose within ourselves what we do want in our dream. It's not about what we don't want, it's about what we do want. And by matching that frequency, we actually bring it in. We bring it in, and so our dream changes and we experience new things coming in. And it looks like our dreams changed. Well, it has, because we've chosen what to bring in because of our new thoughts and our new words and our new actions. So we stop being the designers that react and try and move things around within the dream and change it and alter it. We become the creators, and we bring in from the unmanifested state, because we can, because that's exactly what we're here to do in 5D. It's also perfect, you know, and I know the stages. Good God, I've been through it. I know every stage.
I know you have.
That are hard, you know, that are hard and painful, torturous. Yeah. We can feel lost. We can feel totally alone. But it's actually all perfectly designed.
Yeah.
For one reason, for us, each and every one of us, to become the creators of our dream, not from the mind, from the heart, for the whole. And it's exactly what we're actually doing. We're doing it.
Yeah.
It's happening. It really is.
Melissa, where you
Oh my God. It's just, I love it. I love it. Everything in our past was orchestrated by us, for us. So that we would get to a point where we were sick of our own shit. Yeah. Where we would stop settling for less than what we deserved, where we would choose ourselves and say yes to ourselves and no to anyone or anything outside of us that compromised who we were and our happiness. Amanda was speaking to you a second ago there about vibration. Anything, your body will tell you if there is anyone or anything outside of you or anybody watching this now that causes that inner peace to become disrupted. I don't care who they are, if it's your mama, I don't care who or what it is. You stand down, you take yourself out of the situation, and until you recalibrate yourself, because we have to coexist with people, and that's what we're here for. But your vibration, your frequency is your job. It's your responsibility. And so it's conscious choices. If I know that Todd is going to sit there and trigger the shit out of me, and I stay here and I engage with the triggers, that's on me. That's on me. You have a choice. Anybody who's out there, you know, sitting there going, it's okay for you, I don't have, yes, you do have a choice. They could be baby steps, they could be tiny, but any action that leads you back to the truth of who you are and what you want and what you deserve and what you came into in this life to experience, any action is action. Yeah. Do whatever you can to change up the frequency. I stuck up a post today: if the tables don't turn, flip them the fuck over. Excuse my language. That's what I mean.
This is Soulspeaks. Say whatever the fuck you want to.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, flip them the fuck over, because when I look back at my own not so blank canvas of a past, I'm in awe of what I created to experience, and the gratitude I have for it is just phenomenal. At the same time, when those waves of emotion come up and compassion for myself for what I've been through is necessary, or indeed what I caused, what I was responsible for, it's huge. But your healing is yours. Nobody else's. And you know, transformation is here if you want it. If you want better for yourself, then choose better. Say yes to you.
Yeah.
It's just, I know I start laughing when she's saying it because it's the bloody truth. And the deeper I go into this rabbit hole, the simpler the answers actually are. The simpler they are. If it feels good, then it is good. And if it feels shit, then it is shit. But do something about the shit feeling. Don't stay in it.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Yeah.
two things come up. One is, you know, and this is painful for all of us. I've learned a lot of this in my 4 years with Morgan, but I've also watched her over 4 years. Because she was direct 4 years ago, she's direct today, but she's more direct today. Not just with me, but with everybody. But everybody is evolving there. It's part of the byproduct of this expansion and this brutal honesty of the soul, which is just between me and the universe, right? So what I'm saying is that I think we're becoming more comfortable, all of us, with the prospect of being direct because it's the same situation in the interaction between two individuals, like Amanda was talking about, like we've all been through, where we go in to the fire and this imbalance just goes bananas, and the heart, you know, because our heart's so big, we get battered, okay, and we walk away and we're licking our wounds for 2 or 3 weeks, bringing our own level of self-love back, self-judgment, you know, erased, self-respect, self-honor, and all that. But my point is I think we're finding out that we've got two choices here. Some of the stuff I see out there is too harsh. Like, if somebody F's with you, see you later. Well, you can say that, but if you don't leave in a balanced state, it's going to come back.
Yeah.
It ain't all them, okay? So what Melissa, what you're saying to me that really resonates is this isn't just our healing, this is our life. This is our creation. We're in control of it. So my two choices are this. If I'm getting a lot of imbalance, friction, whatever you want to call it, projection, whatever, I got a choice. I can say, you know, I, sir, 2 bags full, I love you unconditionally, see you later. Okay? Or I can stay in there, right? You know? So that's really, to me, it. Now, if I walk away, I'm walking away in my sovereignty and saying, this is my creation. And as bad as it hurts, I mean, do you know how many times Morgan and I have let each other go? As recently as 2 weeks ago. But when you do that, whether it's your beloved or whether it's a place you live or a concept you have or whatever the case is, and you really do that and you say, you know what, I give it up. I give it up. Every time the universe comes back and says, pow, you know, and it explodes. And I think the other thing is too, is that sovereignty and the integrity, it is, if we look at it, like Amanda said, like a vibration, if you just, I mean, what do we got to do? It's not that complicated. To thine own self be true. So if I hold this integrity within myself, okay, and I can do that sovereignty, it's just like a mirror. It's like the sun hitting a mirror and it shoots back out, right? And so, yes, we have these mirrors. Like I have Morgan, I have you, I have all these mirrors. And yeah, sometimes they're going to put something in my face for me to look at. I've got two choices. Oh, well, he's doing this or she's doing that, or he needs to change or she needs to change. Or I can say, this is my creation. Do I want her? Do I want this in my creation? Whatever it may be, do I want this bad enough? Does it mean that much to me in my heart that I'm going to take a good look at myself and say, what's up? What are you willing to do? Okay. And look at yourself and believe me, It's not always that easy. And I know from personal experience, because Amanda, Melissa, I consider you my sister. I've known Amanda longer, and I know because I've called on her and she's called on me just like you guys do. But this is where the gold is. The gold is the story, not the story that we can't let go of and that we're hung up on. The story is do it. Go out there and fucking do it. Okay? This is what amazes me. I'll conclude with this. Put up 2 posts. I've been posting for 8 years. The 2 biggest posts I've ever seen was when we announced we were getting married and when we got married. I put out 2 posts in the most critical, fragile point of our life when literally we could be separated for an indefinite period of time due to the 3D constructs and all that stuff. And we put out a post of our hands together saying, well, we're about to jump into the abyss here. You know, anybody know where we could stay? 800 people later, you know. And then the next one is I'm standing under a sign that says 5D, and 800 people later, and most of the frequency of what you see in these comments, people get it. People are only going to get it not through this seminar that I do or you do or this post or this video. They're gonna get it through us actually doing it, whether we advertise it or not, because it is a non-physical frequency of illumination that will envelop and expand anyone who is open to see it. You know, that's it for me. Amanda. Somebody
Oh, wow, so much there from both of you. Gosh, I just love you both to bits. But you know, it's something I'd love to just put out there is, and you can label this whichever way you like, it doesn't bother me, is loving without attachment. That's sovereignty.
Yeah.
So in any relationship, I found myself recently, I didn't realize it. I had no idea, but I got attached quite, recently, a couple of months back. I got really, really attached. That's after having detached from absolutely every single thing, idea, person in my life, not from a lack of love, but from a greater love. Because when you're detached, you're accepting. But I found myself attached. Was the answer to walk away with my ego and say, no, I'm not having that? Is that the answer for me? No, because if we walk away with a huge degree of ego, all that's going to happen is a higher consciousness going to say, okay, she didn't quite get that lesson, then let's give her another one in a different person, different circumstance, different month, but she's not getting it, so let's give her another, and then maybe she will. That is when we walk away with anger, pain, hurt. We haven't got the higher teaching of ourselves, because it's all about us. It's not about them. They're being the kind soul to present in order for us to learn about ourselves. If we say no, this is going back to, what you're choosing to have in your reality. If you're saying no from a place of love, from a place of balance, because you know what you want, that is you standing in your sovereignty. So it's not going to repeat. It's about choosing love. That's what it is about. The highest choice. If we think about 5D living, which is where everybody's headed, what is it about? It's about heart-based living. It is about love. It's not about ego. It's about choosing for the highest good, which is the highest frequency, which is no harm to others. So when I chose love, everything shifted. Everything.
Yeah.
And I could not be more grateful for the work that I did on myself. And did I need to see myself? Damn right I did. I absolutely needed to look at myself, because I was holding a pattern that had lasted the whole of my life that I didn't really look at, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
We have to take responsibility for the whole of our reality, because the truth is that we are creating it, whether we realize it or not. Eventually we realize it. So Morgan's, I so get how you do choose yourself first, but not from selfishness.
No.
Because of the awareness that it is your reality you're creating. So what do you want to create? And it isn't about focusing on what we don't want, because all that does is bring us more of what we don't want. It's about choosing what we do want, matching that frequency, and then it comes in, and there it is. That's what we want. It's manifested. And I say that because that is my reality now. That's exactly what I'm doing. I know how to do it, and I just feel so grateful and blessed every moment of the day, because I finally know that I am the creator of my reality, and so are you, and you, and you. You're the creator of your reality, so you have to take responsibility for everything that shows up in it, and then make a choice. You don't have to have things in your reality. You say no, but that is your, if you can't say no, which is what I always was, that's your lack of self-worth. So you have to work through that lack of self-worth in order to be able to be in a balanced space and say no from kindness and love to yourself. And it's just that you don't want this or you don't want that. But it's not, it's a balanced state that you're saying it from. Because then you're neutralized, you're just neutral.
You have to work it, or it's going to work you.
Yeah. But it is magical. It's so magical how it all actually works. And we get to realize it ourselves within us, how it all works. And that's when we start, and we're early stages at this, I'm early stages for sure, but we get to start working with what we actually know. And once you know, you can't undo it. You can't undo it. So you take full and utter complete responsibility for what you think behind closed doors, what you think when you're with a person, what you say. And I say this, it's only recent, that I've got here. It's only recent. But of course you take responsibility, because you know damn well you're creating it.
Yeah. What you got, Melissa?
Woo. To anybody wondering, well, how do I know if I'm attached? How do I know if I'm experiencing attachment? Well, anything that's outside of you, like I said, that causes your inner peace to be robbed, pay attention, because when we come into this earth, into these bodies, we crave connection. We crave it, right? Connection to ourselves. What we experience and what I've experienced to take me to right here now having this conversation with you is the polar opposite. They've been my experiences created by me in this dream for me. What is the opposite to connection? Addiction. Addicted to what? Addicted to drama, chaos, bullshit, noise, people, drink, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it might look like. If you are engaging in anything that's outside of you, that keeps pulling you from your heart, you're attached. You're in the throes of attachment. Do you want to know even further? Then are you happy? Are you deliriously, blissfully happy? Or are you suffering? Are you wondering why that person said what they did? Why did they do the things that they did? Why can't I travel back to 1999 and the 5th of August when? That's attachment to your story. Bring it back home. Make the choice to bring it back home to now. And to attach to nothing more than your own heart and what it is you want to experience, because you can. Anything that served me before isn't going to work now. It's just not. But you can actually do something as simple as choose not to have that in your experience again. And the minute that you find yourself wondering, like, life is going to keep trying to pull you in so many different directions with so many topics and so many experiences. Don't allow yourself to be pulled into somebody else's story. This is your story.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what somebody else, like how somebody else feels, or how somebody else thinks, that is really important to you, for the love of Christ, just communicate.
Yeah.
Ask them, talk to them. Don't assume, because when you make assumptions, you're fueling your own delusion, you're fueling your own distortion, and you're robbing yourself of valuable, precious time. We're not here to mess around, like you just said, and Jim Rohn said it perfectly. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Ask yourself now then, which is running? Am I running the day or is it running me? How will you know? Because you'll be fucked.
So, I'm going to get bold here. So, attachment, it's all polarities, right? There's always a really thin line. Attachment, earth love on this side, unconditional love and creation on this side. And I'm going to tell you this, and hopefully, I don't know, she won't get mad at me. So we have these, because everything is proportionate to your experience, right? And obviously we've been through a lot. Morgan and I have been through a lot, 4 years. So even 2 weeks ago, with what would be a very normal episode, right? I raised my voice. I was intimidating. Todd, with the big heart, soft guy, sensitive and all that. This was a pattern. It was whatever it was. It wasn't me. And this woman looked at me and said, this shit ever happens again? I don't care. I love you. I know who you are, but I'm gone. So attachment would be, in my humble experience, would be, oh my God, I'm going to say whatever I have to, do whatever I have to appease and pacify and whatever the case is. But it wasn't like that. It was this other part of me came in and said, what do you want? What do you want? And if you want that, what do you need to do? What do you need to be open to? What do you need to be open to about yourself? What do you need to be open to about what you can or can't do? So I had a very honest, direct conversation. And I just said, I can do this and I can't do that. I can promise you this and I can't promise you that, but this is where I'm at. And that's all it takes. I'm not saying I'm done. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is that say what you're going to say. Somebody comes to you, I'm not saying she did, but I'm saying someone comes to you and say, promise you're never going to do this. I can't. I can say, here's where I'm at. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I intend to do. God be with me. Gods be with me. Goddesses be with me, whatever. But this is where I'm at. I mean, this is, to me, this is the ultimate. We've got 1,300 plus shows now. We've got all these powerful people. Nobody's perfect. But the thing I love the most is this. The thing I love the most is, oh my God, my shit stinks too. Oh my God, this is where I'm at. Here's all my vulnerability, not to be a bleeding heart, but I'm a fucking badass. But I'm fucking crying. I'm shaking in my boots. But thank you for listening. And thank you for, holding space. And thank you for, being in my life, whoever it may be, you, Morgan, whoever. This is where it's at. The human is the fucking hero. Archangel Michael, Kuan Yin, all respect, all honor, all love, all reverence. They're not down here in the boots doing it. We are. We are. And I'm convinced that in the linear time in the future, many, many souls, including probably incarnations of ourselves, are going to pull from Amanda, Melissa, Todd, Morgan, whoever, you know, and we're going to be the icons. And they are going to be setting the new template. And they are going to be the ones that are the heroes, because they're going to be the ones that dove into the fire and said, let's go for it. Because when we came into this existence, this incarnation or the cumulative incarnations, we didn't know what was going to happen. There was a plan, there were agreements and contracts, but free will is free will. We still have to connect to what? To our higher self, to God, Goddess, whatever that is. And we still have to make that discernment and make that the choices that come with it. We are the heroes. And I will go to my endless end with that. And I'm proud to be here with y'all and everybody else. Let's take another, Amanda and Melissa. You guys have any closing statements? And thank you so much. Thank you so much, both of you. I am in my rawest point, you know, and I'm so happy. I know this is not a coincidence. I'm so happy to be here with you both. And I just want to say thanks.
I'd like to close on the subject of love, because the only thing that stops us from being that is fear. So there's a fear running within me, you. None of us know what happens tomorrow. We only know in this now moment. So we don't have to be the one that has all the answers to a future day or a future week. We can say we don't know. And just drop into the now moment and choose love. Because any type of anger or, you know, it doesn't even have to be anger. It can be that we just close off and we step back. It's fear-based. So we can just see that in ourselves and choose love, because unconditional love will never try and change a person. It will just say, be who you wish to be, but this is what I choose for myself. You be whatever you wish to be. And I honor that. I honor your path. I'm a piece of that, but this is what I choose to have and to experience in my reality. And just allow everybody their times of expansion and their times of learning, because we all learn at different times of the day or the week. We're not all on exactly that same time frame. So I will go through something in my timeline and somebody else in their timeline. But it's just to choose love rather than fear. And as soon as, and I say that, I'm not even saying this just to say it. I'm saying it because I know it, because I've gone through it. To choose love is the greatest thing that we can do for ourselves, for our life, for everything that unfolds before us, and for the whole. It's that magical ingredient that makes everything unfold. And loving people unconditionally means I love you now, knowing that we are all in a transient dream. It's ever changing. We don't know what the future holds, so to speak. It's always flowing. Nothing stays the same. So I'm choosing to love you now, again and again and again and again in this now moment, because that's what brings me joy, you know. That's me.
Oh, wow.
We've only got now. Do we know the future? No, none of us do. But we can love each other right now.
And ourselves. Be here now. That's what I'd just like to add. Be here now, as each and every one of us navigate the now moment. The moment from where everything is created from. The choices you made yesterday, the results are showing up today. The choices you're making today, the results are going to show up tomorrow. So in the now moment, go easy on yourself. Empower yourself with the gift of your choices. Go easy on yourself as you're making these choices. If you catch yourself repeating the same choices that you made before, go easy on yourself. No judgment. There's no room for judgment anymore. No room for judgment of others or yourself. We were all operating from a place where the choices we made were coping mechanisms to get us by, to function. From a place of lack, from a place of not knowing that we're all made of star stuff. Well, now you do. So in the now moment, be here now, be present, and just love yourself. Go easy on yourself. That's it.
Mm-hmm. All right. You know what I love about this job is oftentimes they get off a show and say, that's the best fucking show I've ever been involved with. This is the best fucking show I've ever been involved with, which is the way it should work. Which is the way it should work if you're in the present. Fuck these cliches. This is
I love you, Todd.
I love you too. And so I'm going to ask you both to, you know, when I was alone and I was on the street, I thought I was crazy. I did. And I would get, it wasn't even like a download or a transmission. It was just like, go do this, build a little fire in the middle of this back of the building and, you know, dance around it with some Tupac in my ears and pull up the moon and the sun and all this other stuff, you know. I thought I was crazy. So, you know, to me, the most powerful moments and the moments where I question myself the most were those moments where, like I'm describing, which is what I feel now. So I'm just going to say to you both, join me in this moment. And everybody else. We showed up. We all showed up. It's disempowering to give ourselves up to our past. It's disempowering to give ourselves up to our past behaviors and patterns. It's disempowering to give ourselves up to past lives, future lives, parallel lives, or whatever the fuck we download. We are the hero. We are doing the work, and we have this opportunity one time and one time only. We're integrating the physical and the non-physical, and I am honored and in reverence to be walking this path with all of you, every single soul on the face of this earth. I am that. And I am that means that I am that. There's nothing out there that I am not. Mm-hmm. So I'm tired of the separation. I'm tired of the finger pointing. We're beyond that now. I'm leaving it behind. That energy wants to be saved. Fuck that. I'll see you on the other side. We are one, period. I don't need to explain it here in the 3D. I don't need to explain anything. I just want to be loved. We're making this shit happen. It's happening. Full steam ahead. So yeah. I love you both very much. Amanda.
I love you both and love to everybody watching.
Thanks, guys. It was an absolute honor.
Yeah.
Not in the arena right beside you.
We'll have to do this again, Superwoman.
Yeah. God bless.
See y'all.
Bye,
Take care. Thank you, everybody. See y'all later.